Aside for Thurrock Council. When did you decide that you wanted to stand for council?
It has been something on my mind for a reasonable amount of time. I've lived in Grays for about 8 years. Lived in Thurrock for 10 years, moved here in 2000, initially to Tilbury. But, you know, living in Grays for about 8 years, there has been a lot of change in terms of demographics and with regards to the population, housing, you know, even the way Grays looks has changed. However, I believe that the excellence that has preceded when I did move into Grays has kind of peaked, if that's a right term to use. And I have a saying that states excellence is a moving target, which means what you might do today might be great, absolutely fantastic, but if you repeated it tomorrow, people wouldn't necessarily see that difference in the change. Now, the reason why I'm running as an independent candidate is it's an opportunity for people's voices to be heard. I'm not doing it for myself, I'm doing it for the people of Grays. Rather than policies being shoved down their throat, I actually want to be able to push policies that actually benefit the residents of Grays, as opposed to, and when I say benefit the people of Grays, there will be forums set up, and you know, that way there's more of a voice coming from me to the other councillors and the members of cabinet in the council, as opposed to people being told, oh, this is what we're doing and you have to go with it. And those are my motivations, really.
You're not a stranger to being involved in the community in Thurrock. I think we've seen you at certainly Black History Month, and I remember seeing you at the Holocaust Memorial event up the road.
Yeah.
Being involved in the community must be very important to you.
Absolutely. I mean, it's become a passion over the last 8 years for me. I mean, I work in a church, and I work, it's called the King's Family Centre, and I've been there for about 3 years. So when it comes to service delivery for people, and people go through different things across board, for me, being able to provide a service that helps them take their mind and their hearts off stress is really important, because if you have a few people that are stressed and not happy about their situation, their lifestyle, where they live, you're going to have problem. And as you may have seen on my website, I've put some stats on there about, you know, economic stats, crime stats. Our crime is quite bad, because our crime rates are actually one of the highest in and around the whole of England. I mean, I think it's 60.1 in every 1,000, which is not great. Yes, they have climbed down, but how do we deal with the factors that influence all the deficiency areas that Thurrock, you know, the deficiencies that Thurrock has? So that's the reason why.
Okay, so I'm living in Seabrook Rise. I've got damp on my ceiling. What are you going to do about that?
For me, what I would do about that is, one of the reasons why I created the website is, yeah, for this part of it is for the campaign, but really that website and the domain was bought because there is a need for me to be visible to you. Now, on there you have stuff like Facebook, Twitter. There's a contact number you can leave a message on. It doesn't ring, but you can leave a message on. And once I hear that message, I'll get back to you. You can also post your concerns on that website. Now, the reason why I've done that is because I want to be that counsellor that you can reach at almost any time. If you can reach me at any time, I may not be able to deal with your issue right then. Now, talking about the damp situation, I would escalate it with the council. Make sure that something is done about it as soon as possible. And what would happen is, because I get this with customer service, if something is going to be done or being done, you need to know. So it's not good enough saying, oh, we were going to do it, but no one told you anything, because then you're still worried that nothing is being done about it. Now, I'll have a team that will always get back to you and say to you, we've looked into your situation, we've spoken to the council, X, Y, and Z is what they've said about it. And if I believe that the council are not taking the appropriate steps, I'll keep pushing and hassling till it is sorted. The reason why is because I think of all the things that we least need, or we're least expected to have, is a decent shelter. And that is important. If we're not living right, we can't be happy. So it's important that our residents are happy in their homes. And that's what I would do with regards to that situation.
Does it annoy you, or would it annoy you, when I'm interviewing Martin Healy, your Labour rival,
Yep.
he's Martin Healy.
Yep.
Interviewing Charles Key, he's Charles Key.
Mm-hmm.
But is it my prejudice that I initially will say, I'm interviewing Michael, who's the black independent candidate? Does that annoy you?
No, it doesn't, because of all the candidates in running, I believe I'm probably one of the youngest. It doesn't annoy me. I'm probably, in comparison to them, I'm probably looked at as a more low-profile candidate. I could have gone in as a party member, but like I said, I will not be put in a position whereby I'm being made, I'm having to make compromises on what I believe is right and wrong. And that's what happens when you're a party candidate, because you have your heads telling you, well, we can't do this, we can't do that. Whereas as an independent, I believe it gives me that freedom to express more about what the people feel. I've been in and around the Riverside area. I've had conversations with residents and, spoken to them, and to be honest, I've spoken to about 10 residents just on the road. This is not even door knocking, and 95% of them have been convinced that they're not happy with what they've had. Now, my question to whoever's watching this really is, you've tried Labour, you've tried Conservative at Riverside, what changes have they brought? Yeah, they brought changes, but has the excellent target moved progressively? And the honest answer from my perspective is no, because I've actually been there a few times, and things have not progressed the way they should. I had friends that live in Argent Court, and for me, they've raised issues and complaints, and I'm like, do you feel like the council are not doing anything? And they're like, yeah. Some might argue that, we won't pay council tax because what is our money being used for? So, yeah, taxes should be there and they are meant to be paid, but let the people that pay the taxes see what benefits the taxes are being used on. Potholes, it's ridiculous. Not promoting a good image for Thurrock. And one of my main drives as well is the fact that Grays is meant to be the town centre of Thurrock, but it's played second fiddle to Lakeside. Now, how do we restore that? How do we bring back that heritage? And these are the things that I'm planning to work on. So I'm not sure if that answers your question.
Finally, if you lose, I have the feeling that won't be the last we'll hear of you.
Absolutely not. I mean, for me, if I did lose, which I don't think I will, if I did lose, it doesn't stop there. The manifesto I've written, and for everyone that's watching, you can go on my website, www.cllrmichaelabiodun.co.uk. You can go on there and you will see that the manifesto I've written, it's convenient for me in terms of whether I'm in or out. Now, one of the things I particularly would like to focus on especially is the youth and young people, training and development. Now, as big as Grays is, we have connections.